Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Marko and today I'm doing Dead Note character tier list. That's something new to me. This is going to be very first tier list video. I did one similar video when I ranked my top 20 Attack on Titan episodes. That video was up before season 4 part 2, so yeah, I guess that was kinda similar, but this is the first tier list video. Of course, I will be very subjective when it comes to characters. I will decide the rankings mostly by how I felt about those characters and how much they contributed to the story. A mixture of those two things mostly, so I'm really excited and let's get it started. Let's go. Okay guys, so here we are. This is the tier list with all anime only characters. Oh, this is going to be so interesting. Oh my god, I can already tell I'm going to have a hard time, especially with that middle part from B to E. That's the most difficult one. So the first guy is Aiber. A professional conman. So this is the guy that alongside Veddy came to L's aid, and he was a professional conman and he's usually doing dirty work for L. Obviously he did not contribute too much to the story and he didn't have too much screen time, but I personally liked Aiber as a character. We know that L actually had two more detective names, and Aiber was using one of those, Edward Coyle, right, when they were investigating Yatsuba. And for me, I think that Aiber will go to the C tier. I might change that later, but for now I will place it at C. There was that one scene with him when they were chasing down Higuchi. They were saying that he hates guns and he shot at Higuchi, but he missed, so that was pretty funny. And his death, bro, that was really sad, because when L died, Light wrote his name in the notebook, and he died from heart attack. And at the moment of his death, his wife and child entered the room in which he died, and that was so heartbreaking. So Aiber is going into the C tier for now. Okay, next up is Aizawa. Man, I like Aizawa. Aizawa is also very righteous person. He was present from the beginning until the end of the story. He's been through a lot, man. He had his own family problems. He was not spending too much time with his family. He has a daughter and a baby son, and he simply could not spend enough time with them, which led him to argue with his wife. When L and the others made headquarters in which they can stay, he was refusing that. He wanted to go home every day to see his family, man. Aizawa is really amazing character, especially when we were nearing the end of the series. He played a very solid role. He was like kind of a bridge, a connection from Nier to the task force. He was communicating with Nier, and he laid that little trap with notes, which Light definitely did not expect, and that helped Nier by giving him more proof of Light's suspicious acts. So yeah, all in all, Aizawa is really righteous and emotional person. He was very similar to Chief Yagami in that regard. He would choose family over anything, and I have utmost respect for this character. So I'm thinking about A tier, but perhaps I will put him in B tier for now. We will see. Okay, next up is, oh my god, this guy, Demegawa from Sakura TV. Bro, honestly, this guy might be my one and only F tier. We will see about that, but this guy is going straight to the hell, man. Honestly, even if you ask me for a reason, I don't have a strong reason to put him in F. I just dislike the guy because he's all about the money. He didn't care about anything. He wants publicity for his TV station, no matter what are they talking about, even if they're spreading lies. And that's why I don't like this guy at all. He's just a selfish prick who is overworking his workers. So that's an easy F tier for me. Next up is Jealous. The original simp Shinigami, man. Jealous. Thanks to him, we were able to find out that gods of death can be killed. Rem was talking a story about the girl who had someone stalking her, and we found out later that it was actually Misa. And Jealous was supposed to write Misa's name down because she reached the end of her life. Her lifespan came to an end, and he decided to save her because he liked her, and he killed the stalker who tried to kill Misa with a knife. So if Shinigami decides to protect a human, he has to pay with his life. So it's actually kinda crazy when you think about it. What a crazy butterfly effect, man. Because that day Jealous saved Misa. That's the reason why L died, right? Because of that, we found out how Shinigamis can actually die. So when Light found out that information, that was very useful to him because he used that to make Rem protect Misa and kill L. But I'm thinking about D tier for Jealous for now. We will see. Because that was his one and only purpose in story. I can't like him too much, I can't hate him too much. For now, let's put him in the D tier. Oh boy, look who we have next. That's the dude from Yatsuba group, and I thought that I won't give any more Fs. This one is the Hattori dude. I made a guess that he is Kira when they showed all of Yatsuba members, and I was wrong, of course. He got killed by Higuchi, I think. I don't know, man. All these Yatsuba group members were scammy. There were a few interesting characters like Reiji, but honestly, I'ma place them in F as well. Of course, Demegawa has to be the lowest ranked. Okay, now we have Higuchi. Higuchi was also a member of Yatsuba group, but he was playing the role of Kira when Light and Misa did not have memories. It was a brilliant move by Light to tell Rem to find someone who has lust for power, and Higuchi was a perfect pick because he is extremely selfish, very naive, and to be honest, probably the worst Kira in the Note. But I will give him a D tier because he played a significant role. That might be my personal bias because I really liked the Yatsuba arc because of the sole fact that L and Light were truly working together, man. That was so enjoyable to follow. So sorry Higuchi, you are going with the simp Jealous. Actually, he was simp as well because he really liked Misa, and when Misa revealed that she is Kira as well, he was like, oh, you have to be my wife and whatnot. He was disgusting, bro. So D tier for Higuchi. Next up, Ide. Okay, Ide is also the OG, part of the squad, but he actually left the squad because he didn't trust L at early episodes, but he came back later. I really can't say much about Ide. He's a good guy, but he really didn't get enough screen time or any significant moments for me to place him above Jealous and Higuchi. So Ide is going in D tier as well, but he will be on top of D tier, that's fair. Another Yatsuba group member, I can't remember his name, but he's going to F as well. Oh, the next up is SPK member from Nier's team. She had lots of scenes. She was playing a role of Takada's bodyguard. She was also the one that Mello captured in order to get closer to Nier. It's really tricky when it comes to this character. I want to place her in C tier. And yeah, actually I might do that. I will put Ide as well in C tier. Oh boy, look who we have next. Oh my god. My boy L, and this is without a question S tier for me. First S. Okay, so I really fucking love L, man. Not only that he is one of the smartest detectives ever and that he was a rival to the protagonist. I just simply love L for who he is as a person as well. I like his quirky nature, the way he eats his sweets, the way he sits, the way he's crouching while sitting because that helps his reasoning skills. He's just a quirky guy, and it seems like he has insomnia because he looks like he's permanently sleep deprived, man. He's a really fantastic character who solved a bunch of cases. No wonder that he held the title of the best detective, and let's be honest, he was always very close, but he didn't have enough proof that Light is Kira. Light was very good as well at covering things up, so L knew basically that Light was Kira, but he couldn't prove it, man. Because when you think about it, that scene in episode number 25, when he asked Light, have you ever tell a truth in your life, is basically saying, I know that you Kira, but I admit my defeat. That's basically how I view that whole sequence of them standing on the rain, and later on, of course, with Judas reference when he was cleaning Light's feet. So yeah, in my opinion, L is very amazing character, and as I said, I like the how quirky he is, the way he eats those sweets and holds up things with 2 fingers, and he's actually skilled in martial arts as well, because in that fight against Light we saw him use those kicks. That was pretty dope as well. And to be honest, his and Light's relationship is what made this series unforgettable to me. I was always interested to see what he has to say every time he's on screen. I was captivated by his character, and I just love L, man. I heard that many people who started watching Death Note, well, I don't know if it's many, but some of them quit Death Note after episode 25, which just goes to show you how much people love L, man. Even though I disagree with that decision, because even after episode 25, it's still a very solid show. Okay, let me just adjust some things. Higuchi will be the top of D, and everything else seems fine for now. And next up is Matsuda. Bro, Matsuda is A tier for me. Matsuda was comic relief of Death Note. That's 100% fact. But was his purpose just to be a comedic relief? Nope. Matsuda was also a great character. I remember how he struggled to find his place among the task force when everybody had something to do except for him, and he really felt bad about that. The episode number 19 called Matsuda was amazing. He basically went to Yatsuba group by himself, and he heard them speaking about Kira and about killing people. Yeah, he kinda screwed up. He went through the door, but he played it out like he was Misa's manager and basically saved the situation by offering them Misa to do commercials for Yatsuba group. Matsuda's relationship with Chief Yagami was also something interesting. It almost felt like a father-son relationship. Matsuda liked and looked up to Chief Yagami so much. And Matsuda is also interesting because of one another fact. Among the task force, Matsuda was the only one who questioned them trying to get Kira, man. He at one point said, is it really wrong that Kira is killing all these criminals? So I really like Matsuda because he was thinking from the perspective of Kira and from the perspective of Task Force. He's like that one naive friend that everybody likes, and he has the worst times to crack some jokes. He reminds me of Connie from Attack on Titan, to be honest. Not the brightest, but very fun to be around, right? And he's the one who basically killed the Light. I mean, we know that Ryuk wrote Light's name in Dead Note, but Matsuda was the one who pulled the trigger and blasted Light, man, with tears in his eyes because of all the things he went through. He replayed all of that in his head, and he could not just forgive Light for what he did to his family and most importantly to Chief Yagami, man. That was pretty sad. So easy A tier for me when it comes to Matsuda. Okay, we have Matt. Oh my god. We only saw Matt briefly in one episode, and in that episode he got killed. He was helping Mello when they kidnapped Takada, and I really liked the way Matt dressed. He has drip, man. He looks so badass, and I don't know why anime did not include this, but one of my commenters said that Matt is actually from the Vemi's house as well. He is third child prodigy, right after Nier and Mello. He is the kid number 3, and that's pretty dope fact if you ask me. So I think that anime did him a little dirty when it comes to his introduction. But bro, I really liked his drip, so I will place him in D at least. Okay, next up we have Mello. Oof, man. Mello was fantastic, man. He also had drip. He dressed pretty nicely. He looked badass, especially after he got that scar from the explosion. And he's the embodiment of one half of L. One half was Nier and he was the second half. And it seems like he inherited L's sweet tooth, right? Because he was eating too much chocolate. And he was best friend with Matt. It was thanks to Mello that we were able to drive Light into the corner. At first I was quite disappointed how they handled his death. It was so naive way to go down, but I'm really glad that his death was not meaningless at the end and that he contributed to catching Light. So Mello was also a great detective, but he had his own methods. He was ruthless and he had a very bold approach, and he was very emotional. He was acting on his emotions, and overall really great character. So A tier for Mello. Okay, we have another member of Yatsuba, right into the F tier. Oh boy, next up is Mikami. Mikami is dope character, but the sad reality is that Mikami could be described as Walmart Light Yagami, man. He was really similar to Light, and that's why he fucked with Light so hard, man, because they shared a similar belief. We saw while Mikami was growing up, he was a great child. He was helping those who were bullied, but he often got in trouble because of that, and his mom criticized him, saying that he shouldn't stick his nose in anyone's business. I mean, she was worried for her own child, even though he was trying to bring justice as such a young kid. That's very admirable, and he later on became a prosecutor, but he was glad when his mom died. He said that people like that don't deserve to live in this world. So he was a bit of a psycho, man. I really don't like his way of thinking. He was very extreme, but as Light's right hand, he was a perfect pick, man. He was doing perfect job without Light's orders, but that part is actually tricky because that was eventually Light's downfall, because Mikami made a decision on his own to write Takada's name as well. But let's be real, guys, I cannot place Mikami below B tier because he was really interesting character. He will be in B tier next to Aizawa. Next up is my man Moggy. Oh no, man, I like Moggy, but I know realistically that I can't place him too high. He was a great guy, always helpful, always very reliable. He was acting as Misa's manager, and those scenes were pretty funny. Moggy is a great guy, but this is the best I can do for him, man. I will place him on the top of C tier. Okay, we finally got to Reiji, one Yatsuba dude that won't go into F tier. I mean, we have Higuchi in D, but this will be the first E, the first member of E tier, only because of the fact that he was willing to cooperate with our task force to capture Higuchi. He also later on died when Light wrote everyone's name, but he was cool. He was not like these other Yatsuba scumbags. Next up is Misora Naomi. Man, I like Misora. I think that she was done dirty, but I can see why, because of the story. Story needed her death because Light would be caught. So she is the one who almost caught Light so early in the show. Light had extreme luck that task force were not present in the building when she came. She came to ask about Kira investigation, and at the same time Light went to deliver some stuff to his dad, but obviously they were not there, and that's when Light and Misa started talking. The way Light manipulated, man, those episodes were so brilliant. It's a real shame because Misora Naomi is extremely smart. She was FBI agent once, but she is retired. Her fiance was Rey Pember, and because he died, she was investigating the death of her fiance. And let's be honest, Misora's death was one of the most depressing things in this show, man. Her death still haunts me to this day. It was done beautifully, but it was very, very sad and depressing. So all that being said, Misora deserves at least a B tier from me, so I will put her right in between Aizawa and Mikami. And next up is... oh, it's Giovanni. I thought it was Rey Pember. They look very similar, and when I saw Giovanni at first I thought that he looked very, very similar to him. So Giovanni is not B tier material for me, but I think he deserves C for sure. And I will actually place him right here actually, because he was a huge factor, and thanks to him we were able to see what is Mikami up to, even though they kinda let us. Mikami expected, Mikami knew that he was being followed, but Giovanni did amazing job. He was extremely helpful by deducting Mikami's character, and he was the one who swapped the Dead Note. Pretty significant role in Endgame. Next up we have our boy Nier. Oh my god, I know that many people prefer Nier from manga because you guys said that in the manga they actually went in more about his thought process and everything. In anime they made it seem like he figured things way too easily, but Nier was the only one giving me L vibes, if that makes sense. Maybe because he's emotionless and quirky, and they kinda have similar hairstyle with those bangs like covering their eyes, and that like dead inside expression, if you know what I mean. And the way he was piecing those puzzles and deducting everything, he was really like a mini L for me. He also came, of course, from Vemi's house. With Mello, they both accepted to avenge L and work on Kira's case. Mello didn't want to work with Nier because they were so different. They didn't rock too much with each other, but they respected each other. And his little sinister smile when he is in the right, man, that was always a treat to see. So Nier is easy A tier for me. Let me readjust things like this. So Nier, Mello, Matsuda. Next up we have another Yatsuba member, and I don't like this guy. I think I will place him right next to Demegawa. Next up is Rey Pember. Oh man, Rey Pember. You can actually, when you think about it, say that Rey Pember was one of the greatest mistakes that Light made. And it's also one heck of a butterfly effect, because all future events from investigating Rey Pember's death led to Light's downfall at the end. The whole sequence with that bus jacking, those episodes were phenomenal, and it's really sad because Rey Pember thought that Light was in the clear. He was just about to quit following him, but it was too late because Light already set the plan in motion for that criminal to try and hijack the bus and die in the process, to die in a car accident. And I can say for a fact that Rey Pember's death was also very brutal. Light played him like a fool, man. Obviously, Rey Pember didn't know what to do. He had to listen to Light, and he actually killed a bunch of his colleagues, man. That really sucks. And I will place Rey Pember in actually B tier as well. Okay, let me readjust this so that Misora and Rey can be together here. Next up is Misa Amane. Oh my god. If you guys watched my reactions, you guys know that I really like Misa. Misa is definitely going into the A tier. So at first, when we got introduced to Misa, we knew that she had Shinigami eyes and she was second Kira, and I thought that she was very reckless and not smart enough to be of any help to Light. But soon after, she proved me wrong, because at one point she even played a Light, man, and that tells you something. When she disguised herself and saw Shinigami walking next to Light, and Light's plan was to hide into the group of people so that he cannot be seen, but she was able to see him. So she looked him up on the internet and found him through some website and found his address, and she appeared on Light doors one day, man. Misa is phenomenal. I think that Misa had a really fucked up life, man. Her parents were murdered, and Kira punished the criminal who killed her parents, and it makes sense why she likes Kira. But after she saw Kira's face, that he's a very hot young guy, she fell in love with him, and basically that was what Misa is all about. There is no life for her without Light Yagami, and that's why she committed suicide in that creepy scene at the end of the series. And one of the viewers brought up a good point in episode 25 when she sang that song. That was really creepy, and she wore the same outfit as the last episode when she was on top of the building. So that scene is perhaps what actually happened before her death. And not only that, there is her connection with Shinigamis. Like, she literally made, I mean, she didn't made, but Jealous sacrificed his life in order to extend her lifespan, and later on it happened with Rem as well. It seems like Shinigamis really like Misa. I always liked those moments where Misa, Light and Del were together. It was so funny. Yeah, you can say that Misa is pretty naive, but she was very helpful. Unfortunately, in the end, Light was able to fool Rem, and Misa was no more threat to Light, so he could get rid of her at any moment, but he decided to keep her around because that would be very suspicious, of course. She was being used and manipulated, but obviously she did not mind that because Light was everything to her. Next up we have Rem. Rem was really important character, definitely deserves to be at least in C tier. I will place her on the top of C tier. So Rem played huge role in Death Note. Obviously she is the one who killed our boy L because she didn't have much choice. She knew exactly what Light Yagami planned and she had to do it. She sacrificed her life in order for Misa to be happy, because if Light's happy, then Misa is happy, and when Misa is happy, then Rem is happy. So it was a pretty logical conclusion to Rem's character, no crazy twists, it was expected. Light was mastermind manipulator, he did amazing job by using Shinigami in his advantage. Next up is one of SPK members again, one of the near, I can say that he was almost all the time with Nier, like his personal bodyguard, so he's definitely C tier material as well. I will place him here, and actually I will switch either with both of SPK members like this. Next we have that old gentleman Roger from Wemi's house. I don't know if he's somehow related to Vatari. He didn't play any significant role. I think I will place him in D tier as well, just because we didn't see much of him. He was obviously very sad because of L's death, and he called up Nier and Mello and basically discussed with them the future of Kira investigation. So pretty cool fellow, but we didn't see much of him, so he's going into the D tier. And next is our boy Ryuk. I doubt that there is existence out there that dislike Ryuk. But let me tell you something. Ryuk is a very cruel Shinigami. The anime presented him as this cheerful, apple-loving, comedic relief at some times, and he was pretty funny, but the ending of the show reminded us that he doesn't give a shit about anything. He just wants to have fun, and he killed Light because he deemed that he's not capable of entertaining him anymore. So the show does amazing job by basically making you forget how cruel Ryuk is. But that aside, he was pretty funny with his withdrawal symptoms and the way he was laughing when something happens that doesn't go as planned to Light, man. And the way he cooperated with Light at one point. So he was saying that he's not picking sides, that's been established early, and how the people who are using the note are not going to heaven nor hell. He helped Light with the cameras because he got apples, and he later on helped Light with that plan about exchanging the notes with Rem and everything. And I think that was more because he was interested to see what Light has in store for him, more than him wanting to help Light. But yeah, man, I feel like Ryuk might be the mascot of Dead Note, and probably with L and Light one of the most recognizable character of Dead Note, with great voice actor. I really like Ryuk. But you know what? I won't place Ryuk in S tier. Ryuk is going into the A tier, because A is for apples. He will actually be on the top of A tier. So next up we have Light's mother. Poor woman. She lost her son, lost her husband, her daughter is traumatized for life, and D tier seems like a good place for her, because it seems like the D tier is for the characters that are cool but didn't get enough screen time. With the exception of Higuchi, he is here because I don't like Higuchi that much. And I can say the same for Sayo, even though Sayo kinda played a bigger role than her mom, obviously, with the stuff with kidnapping and Mello, and Chief Yagami saved her and exchanged the dead note. But I will give her D tier as well, but she will be a little bit higher up, like here. Okay. Alright, so next up we have Sido. And you know what? Sido is perhaps one of my favorite Shinigamis as well. The way he was following Ryuk around, the man just wanted his dead note back. And the way that he got scared when Mello gave him the look, man, he was hilarious. I know that we only saw him like in 2 episodes, I guess. I'm going to place him in D tier. I'm gonna place him right in front of Jealous here. And now we have Soichiro Yagami, Light's dad, or Chief Yagami, or General Director Yagami, however you want to call this great man. He was very righteous, he had very strong sense of justice, he was family man, he was great human being overall, really respectable guy, and one of my favorite characters from Dead Note. He went through so much shit, man. Since Kira investigation began, he got gray hair, he got shot twice, he got a heart attack, he got detained also, just like his son, Light Yagami. He wanted to suffer as his son. He is a great role model and a great parent, man. He even gave up on his job, on his position, to continue investigating Kira. And his words are very true, that true evil is the power to kill others, and that is Dead Note. And there is one more thing when it comes to Chief Yagami, his death. It was a very bittersweet moment for me. Some people can say that they like his death because he died with a smile on his face, not knowing the truth. But I don't know, man. I feel like he deserved to know the truth, no matter how cruel that truth is. How do you feel about his death? I wanna ask you guys, I'm really curious. It was for sure bittersweet, and I guess that's good that he died happily, knowing that his son is not Kira, even though we know that's not true. His death definitely affected Light. Light was prick. He was demanding to his dad while he was dying to write Mellow's name, but when Chief Yagami passed away, Light completely broke into tears, man. And that's also something that one could argue, it was that true Light or not. So Chief Yagami deserves easy A tier, and I will place him next to Matsuda. I guess let me rearrange a little bit. Okay, this looks fine. Oh, look who we have next, man. The man himself, Light Yagami. One of the most entertaining characters that I had a chance to follow in any show. The Kira, the god of the new world. Very smart and respectable young man that was respected by his peers and teachers and everyone else. He was the perfect student with great deduction skills and very strong sense of justice, just like his dad. And no matter what anyone says, when Light got the note and he wanted to make the world a better place, I believe that he truly meant that. Of course, as the story progressed, more and more. He kind of got absorbed by its power. His god complex started kicking in, and he was eliminating any threat that stands in his way, no matter if that person is a criminal or not. This guy was freaking amazing. There were so many situations in which regular people would just freak out and admit that they're Kira, but he always remained composed and was able to maneuver and manipulate every situation in his advantage. Really, really brilliant mind, very skillful tactician. He was for sure on par with L. I think that they are pretty close when it comes to intelligence. So yes, Light Yagami did want a good thing, but he dove deeper as the story progressed and became ultimately the thing he wanted to erase. And Light is a great example. I remember talking about this in one of my reaction videos. We saw Light without memories of Dead Note, right? He was absolutely against Kira, he wanted to capture him, and in certain situations where Misa was about to be used or sacrificed, he was against that. He was against manipulating others. So that's the very scary part about Dead Note. No matter how strong your beliefs are, no matter what you stand for, when you get your hands on Dead Note, everything can disappear just like that. And I think that Light is a perfect example, and he for sure deserves S tier. S tier is reserved for these two guys for sure. Imagine that he didn't retain his memories and that he remained L's partner, man. Oh my god, that would be so dope. There would be no case that those two cannot solve, man. Next up, we have Takada. Another one of Light's victims. Another person who Light manipulated. She was Kira's spokesperson after Demegawa died. She was in contact with Mikami. She was also in love with Light Yagami, just like Misa, but I prefer Misa over her, even though she also kinda suffered a cruel fate by burning alive and dying with Mello, and the evidence by Light's hands, or should I say by Dead Note. She did play a significant role in second part of the series after L's death, but I'm not a huge fan, I have to admit. If you ask me, she will probably go somewhere in C tier. Here. Something like that. Okay, next up is the dude from Yatsuba. He is going to the F, of course. Oh, Ukita. Damn, Ukita died early, bro. He died by Misa's hand, bro. Misa wrote his name in the notebook, and that happened in those episodes when we were learning that second Kira has Shinigami eyes, man. Well, Ukita, I can't place Ukita below C tier because all the members of the task force, let's be real. Do you remember how many people quit and didn't want to go after Kira saw? These guys are super brave and I have to give them props they deserve. So Ukita is for sure going to the C tier as well, and I'ma place him right beside Ide, like this. Next up is Vatari. Oh man, I like Vatari very much. Vatari did not have that much of screen time, but whenever he appeared on screen, it was fun, man. The way he was feeding task force with ice creams and candies. The crazy thing is that after his death, we found out that he was the creator of Wemmy's house, the orphanage, and it was not the only one. They had more all around the world. So he's a really, really great guy. He was helping kids and raising these super smart and talented individuals, and he was known as L's right hand. He was doing all the stuff in public. He was showing himself and he represented L. You can say that he even thought about L like his own son. I remember that scene. I'm still getting chills when L walks up to Vatari and Vatari says, what's the matter? Is anything wrong? And that was the episode 25, I think, when L died. Like, they both felt that something is going to happen. And let's not forget the helicopter action and his sniper skills, man. So, Vatari definitely is solid character, but yeah, we didn't see much of him, so this is going to be tough. Does he deserve B tier? I mean, I guess. Let's put Vatari in B. Why the heck not? He was a great guy. Next up is Veddy. Oh my god, I freaking love her. Obviously, we didn't see much of her. Not only that she is hot, that aside, she is such a badass, bro, and her mannerism, everything about her is great. She was the hacker, right? The one who broke into Higuchi's house and whatnot. And she was following him on a motorbike. They were all taking part in that operation when they rescued Matsuda as well. That was pretty dope. So she got introduced to us with Iber, so I will place her right next to him. And we have this last dude who is, I think, from Yatsuba group as well. So he is going to the F tier. These characters realistically are not fleshed out at all. They serve their purpose, I guess, but I didn't like them that much. So there you guys have it. That is, I guess, my tier list of Death Note characters. Let me see real quick if there is something to rearrange. Actually, I might put Takada here. Okay. This seems better. So yeah, D tier is characters that we only saw a little bit of, and Higuchi. So all the tiers are looking good. B tier and A tier are very strong. I like them, and of course, S is reserved for the best of the best. I guess that's all. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. As always, if you like my videos, consider subscribing, leave a like, comment, and all that good stuff as always. I will be seeing you very soon with another video. Until then, take care and have a nice day. See ya, guys.